Shalom. We'll get started here in just a few moments.
The power of good is more terrible than the power of evil. You know, it ain't Satan with demons coming back shooting lasers on people, man. It's gonna be Yahweh Shai with his holy angels, man. That's powerful, man. Blasting people to nothing, man. You know, hey, it's beautiful and it's terrible, man. That's terrible, all right? Everybody gonna be afraid, man.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
This is Job chapter 18, verse 11. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. Now this is going to happen to the so-called white man, okay? You so-called white people, you're going to be terrified, all right? Terrors will make you afraid on every side, okay? And you're going to have no place to run to, no safe haven, all right? Because your kingdom is going down, all right? And it's going to go down drastically, okay? You're going to lose everything, okay? And the whole world will rise up against you, okay?
And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto my power, Yahweh Bashim Shah Bashim Hakodash. It's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, and his son's name, who the world inwardly called Jesus Christ. His real name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Also give it praises, honor, and glory to the Yahweh. So, like, give me 1 second. Okay. Salaki, let me plug up my mic. Okay, I think we should be good. Salaki, I didn't have my mic plugged up. I also want to give praise, honor, and glory to the Yahweh Kakodash, which is the force and entity that makes this edification possible. I want to say Shalom to our sincere heart of Akim, wa Akwat, that you brothers and sisters make your bodies a loving sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors to my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and who rule well. And I'm the brother Osman Watt here from Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back this Sabbath morning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shah to do another lesson. And the Lord's will, this lesson be found edifying and exhorting unto the elect of the nation of Israel, as well as glorifying unto the names of my power, Yahweh Shemal Shah. And let me check this microphone real quick. I didn't have it plugged up at first, so let me see if the audio is good. Yeah, we sounding good on my end. Baba Kashai, if it gives y'all any problems, just let me know, and we'll try to fix it. All right, but as you can read the title of the lesson this morning, it says, and if the servant plainly says, I love my master. All right, and if the servant plainly says, I love my master. And the title actually comes from the 5th verse in Exodus chapter 21, okay, which is the statutes, the ordinances concerning, your Hebrew servants. Okay, now, we apply this, well, ultimately this is spiritual. You can view this, to be spiritual as, we're about to get into, as it relates into, how we're, yet this day in our captivity, we're still servants. Okay, we're still slaves underneath, Esau Edom system, but this ordinance goes into the way we're supposed to have treated, our, our brethren, as they, may have fallen on hard times and they had to sell themselves unto us. Well, there's particular ordinances and guidelines and standards given by Yahweh by Shemal Shah as into how we're supposed to, treat our Hebrew, brethren, our Israelite brethren. You don't treat them as you do heathens, but there's particular, section in here that we often get into, apostles, bishops, brothers, we get into as it goes into the all. Okay, the all, spelled AUL or AWL. But I wanted to get into this morning because the reason why our people are ultimately gun-ho for this beast system. As a matter of fact, let's grab this in Revelation 13. Type in wonder beast. Revelation 17. All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 8. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, right? And this is Rome revitalized, coming back, okay, as this beast system, ultimately with America spearheading it. Okay, then you got NATO and the EU, but this is going into America. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, okay, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Now, when you grab this word, wonder, Strong's G 2296.
Strong's G 2296, Thalmazo.
Thalmazo says to wonder, to marvel, to be wondered at, to be had in admiration. See that? To be had in admiration. And that's exactly how, our people, you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, as well as Israelite foreigners, that's how you hold, the so-called white man and his kingdom in your mind. You admire, okay, the so-called white man. You envy your oppressor. Okay, our people love this devil, man. Scripture says, trust not in oppression. Let's grab that real quick. And here it is. All right, let me type this in. Hopefully I spelled it right. Nope, didn't spell it right. Psalm 62 and 10, before we get this, but here it is, Yahweh by Shemal Shah, okay, has offered us, an exit out of this slavery. He's, by giving us the gospel, which the gospel has everything to do with, setting loose the captives, as you read in Isaiah 61. Okay, and our people, they don't trust in, Yahweh by Shemal Shah. They don't trust in this message of salvation and redemption, all right, from slavery. Okay, but yet they trust in this oppressive, systematic, oppressive ass, government, man. You see? So all those that have that type of mindset, well, the Lord has a mark for them to receive, and that is known as the mark of the beast, which is is crystal clear by now what it should be. It is definitely the RFID microchip, man. Okay, the implantable microchip, okay, which will go either in your hand, okay, or in your forehead. All right, and particular nations are streamlining it right now, such as China, which Trump's whole premise is that, well, we got to beat China. We can't let China lead the pack as it relates into AI, this digital orange race, to implants. All right, so much to the point where now the U.S. government, Babylon the Great, okay, has laws and legislation such as winning the race of 6G. Okay, and when you read that memorandum on whitehouse.gov, it literally says, how they're developing, devices, implantable devices, man. I guarantee if I was to look it up right now, let's see, whitehouse.gov, which we've gone into it, but these things have to be, rehearsed, and gone over every day, because that solidifies our faith. All right. And ultimately, it's showing us that the words of Yahweh by Shemal Shah is faithful and true. So just as we see, the build up to this MOTB, All right, and the mandation thereof. Well, we're supposed to, look at these things, all right, from a spiritual perspective, man. Okay, and the Lord has told us the solution or the way of escape is to trust in Him. Let me see, Whitehouse.gov, winning the race to 6G. All right, so you got all these different camps, saying that the MOTB, the RFID microchip is a conspiracy. But how is it a conspiracy, man? Which, if you want to be technical, yes, it's a conspiracy, because conspiracy just goes into, where two or more are gathered together, to plot harm against another, But when I speak about conspiracy, meaning from the scoffing aspect, or standpoint from these other jakes, man, from these other camps, basically shunning it away as if it's not here, But when you read down here, it says it's the policy. I'm just going to get straight to the point concerning the 6G. This is the Whitehouse.gov memorandum. It is the policy of the United States to lead the world, to lead the world, just like we just got in Revelation 17. Okay, this is the beast that the whole world is wandering after, man. It is the policy of the United States to lead the world in 6G. Let him that have wisdom count the name and the number of the beast. To lead the world in 6G development, and certain steps are necessary to achieve the goal of this policy, right? So this thing is steps. See, Jake is expecting this thing to just happen overnight, which if the Lord wanted it to happen that way, he could make it happen that way. But no, the Lord works with gradualism when it comes to, certain things, man. See, because we're dealing with the serpent, and the serpent, he's more cunning than any beast of the field, than any other nation of people. So the snake, he just don't slide up on you and just bite you. He moved to the right, moved to the left in increments, So, there's steps. This is chess and not checkers, man. But our job as watchmen is to, supposed to, track this man's every movement. Okay, and to relay that information to the flock by blowing the trumpet, man. Okay, we're at step number 2. All right, we're at step number 3. Okay, now they're talking about 6G. So we constantly doing lessons, so the flock can be, fully, aware and informed as we get the blood off our hands, man. So it says certain steps are necessary to achieve the goal of this policy. This is their end goal right here, man. As Elder Apostle Hart had, coined the phrase, all roads lead to the microchip. This is the main goal right here. So as Esau's throwing out all these distractions, oh, we got a peace deal with Iran. Oh, Iran walked out of the peace negotiation. You just got the same rhetoric, in the news every week. People, they don't know what to believe. Listen, we have a more sure word of prophecy, and prophecy, Revelation 13 verses 15 and 16, all right, tells us that this is the main goal, okay, of Esau, Edom, okay, of the wicked. And once this comes to pass, man, all hell is going to break loose, man. So certain steps are necessary to achieve the goal of this policy. It says, including steadfastly advancing. So let's grab this word steadfastly. All right. It says
steadfastly,
in a resolutely or dutifully firm and unwavering manner. So though it tarry, wait for it, it will not tarry. Okay, we're not in the times for it's not tarrying anymore. Okay, this devil knows he has a short time, so he's moving steadfastly. He's moving resolutely. He's moving with purpose now. All right, even though he still does have some type of sense of hesitancy, but his hesitancy is is waning, less and less every day. Because he knows he has a short time. So this thing is full steam ahead now, man. So it says certain steps are necessary to achieve the goal of this policy, including steadfastly advancing American interests in the international standards bodies that will play a crucial role in 6G development and identifying a significant volume of radio frequency spectrum that can be harmonized for 6G networks internationally. And that frequency is going to be inside of you in the form of that chip, man. And that's going to cause forth, for that curse, that noisome sword, that you read about in Revelation 16, that cancerous, boil, man. As a matter of fact, I skipped the section that I wanted. Is actually in the first paragraph or the first section, as it states the purpose. So let me read this, and then we're going to get back into these scriptures. Okay, it says the next generation of mobile communications network, 6G, will be foundational to the national security. Okay, so this is the foundation ultimately of the New World Order. This chip. It says foundational to the national security, foreign policy, and economic prosperity of the United States. This is that peace and safety. This technology, all right, and this technology, okay, was prophesied about in Revelation 13, man. Our forefather John the Revelator saw this technology, man. He saw everything that we're seeing right now. And you can go to no other so-called religious text or book or any type of philosophy. None of them have the answers. Everybody's running to the Bible, the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast. All these different platforms, secular platforms. They read in Revelation 13 and 16. Why? Because the words of this Bible is faithful and true, man. It says this technology will play a pivotal role in the development and adoption of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, and check this out. I'm gonna zoom in for you scoffers and gainsayers and detractors. All right, it says what? And implantable technologies. Boom. All right. And for these scoffing camps, man, even if you don't believe that the microchip is the MOTB, since you are so gun-ho about the laws, the statutes, and commandments, you are still supposed to rebuke, okay, this technology, because this is implantable. And scripture says clearly in Revelation, so like Leviticus 19, which we know is the MOTB, but we're bringing this point out because I'm going to show you that, Jake, they're not even really about the laws like that, man. They just want to wear fringes, know that they're Israelites, and eat McDonald's in America forever and drink tap water. A super through brew. You got to drink tap water if you can't see that the MOTB is the RFID chip, man. All right, Leviticus 19 and 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks. All right, marks upon you. I am Yahweh by Shema Shai. See that? And with that syringe going inside of you, you're cutting your flesh and you're putting this mark inside of you. Let's grab this word mark in the Hebrew. It's quaqua, Strong's H7085. What does it say? Incision. Okay. Incision, imprintment. You go down here to the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. What does it say? A stigma, which that links up with Revelation 13. All right, chassis stigma 666. Okay, a mark branded on the skin. See that? So this is going to be this devil's way to the modern day branding is going to be this implantable technology. All right, so let's get here in Exodus 21, verse 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out for free. So like in the 7th, he shall go out free for nothing, right, man? Because as this gospel is being proclaimed, this is spiritually our the year of Jubilee, okay? Which the year of Jubilee is where all debts are forgiven, okay? And slaves or servants, which would be, your Israelite brother, they're supposed to be let free, okay, by law. That's why when you read here in Isaiah 63 and verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year, all right, and the year of my redeemed is come. And when you go into it, that year is speaking about is that spiritual year of Jubilee. where all debts is forgiven and slaves are set free. And that's being proclaimed in the spirit by this testimony, man. Okay, and our people that love it here, they love their lives here, as we're about to, continue to read here in this chapter. Okay, well, you're gonna have to publicly profess that, man, and display it by getting chipped. See, and you're showing that you'll rather be a slave to the so-called white man forever, okay, than receive salvation and come to that new covenant and with Yahweh Shemal Shah. You see how wicked that is, man? They'll rather, our people love oppression. Oh, we never got that. We never got that in the Psalms. Psalm 62:10. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them, man. All right. And our people, they trust in oppression, man. They trust in the system. They trust in the Democrats. They trust in the Republicans. They trust in, voting. They trust in SNAP, Section 8, all these little accoutrements and, and dainties that the so-called white man gives them, man. See, now, we may use particular certain those things, but we don't trust in it, man. That's why scripture says by using the world without abusing it, man. See, our people, they abuse this world. They abuse the shit that the so-called white man gives them, man, which makes them, what you call it, substance abusers. They're addicted. They're addicts. Okay, they're addicts to the so-called white. They're addicted to this man. See, so the Lord is he's got a chip prepared. He's got a mark prepared for his enemies, man. Isaiah 30:12. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, okay, this word of liberation. All right, this gospel, because you despise his word and trust in oppression and perverseness, and this kingdom is perverted, man, and stay their own, meaning that you rely upon it. You have your faith in the system. Therefore, this iniquity, all right, sin on top of sin on top of sin. All right, because in order to, stay plugged in, okay, to the system, you got to constantly sin against Yahweh by Shemal Shah. And Esau, the Lord is putting the spirit upon Esau and giving him the technology to create, to create an environment very soon to where it's going to be impossible for you to live or to buy and sell without sinning against Yahweh by Shemal Shah. Sirach 27:1. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. All right, a lot of people have sinned for a small matter. Jake is, sinned, just so he can get a promotion at McDonald's. So how much more those that seek abundance, they're going to turn their eyes away, from the righteous standard. Verse 2. Jake want to be promoted from Coming to America. He said, "Oh, and if you do a really good job, you could get on the buns." First he had that. I'm talking about the Edomite, that fat Edomite dude. He was talking about how he just put letters on it. But he said, "Now I'm over the buns." See, that's Jake, man. But it says, verse 2: as a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling, man. All right. So just as a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, because in masonry, masonry construction, when the brick mason, is laying on each course of bricks, after every 5 or 6 or 7 courses of bricks that he lays, on the building, they got to put in something called brick ties, and you got to nail those brick ties, to the studs, and it's close and compact so it could keep that structure, together. So just as the nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, it says, so does sin stick close between buying and selling. See that? And that's exactly what the chip, is going to be, surrounded by buying and selling. Revelation 13:16, man. So very soon, in order to make any type of transactions, in the world, not just in America, but in the world, okay, you're going to have to sin against Yahweh Bashmal Shai. See, and that's where the elect says we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. Okay, they no longer stay upon him that smote them, but stay upon the Holy One of Israel in truth. The just shall live by his faith. So let's go back here to Exodus 21:2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. Let's grab this word free. This word free. Because you got a lot of our people saying, well, I'm free now. We free now. We ain't on the plantations no more. You get this word free. It's chasha. Chasha. All right, it says what? Free from slavery. Check this out. Free from taxes or obligations. Free. It says exempt from bondage, exempt from tax or care. Liberty. See that? So if you're paying taxes, that proves that you're not free. You're not tax exempt. Okay, you got to pay taxes. So that means what? You're a slave. All right. But if you were truly free, you wouldn't be paying taxes. You wouldn't have all these obligations. You wouldn't be subject to payments, as it says in Baruch 3:8, man. All right. Hebrews, Exodus 21:2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. All right. Verse 4. If his master have given him a wife and have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. And this is the mindset and sentiment that 2/3 have, particularly, man. And this is why, to be quite frank, this is the reason why a lot of these Israelite, so-called leaders in different camps, man, hold the position that they hold as it relates to Revelation 13, man, because really they love their life here. They love the setup that the so-called white man gave them. They love that little 1-bedroom apartment. They love this woman. That Esau, you know what I mean? That Esau groomed her mind, and they just love. They're enamored. Okay, they are enamored by everything that's been given to them. Okay, by this system, man. See that? And if verse 5, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. And the Lord's going to have you to get a physical mark to show that. Now, when you get this word plainly, because Jake is saying it plainly. And when they say I can't find that video. I'm gonna try it though, because I make reference of it all the time. I know brothers have done collages of videos. Let's see, ISUPK. Does God care if you get the chip? Because that's what he said. Oh man, the Wadi Halbashmasha, it pulled right up. Oh, okay. Elder Yashawamba uploaded it. And check this out.
I've been such fools for the idea of the microchip being the mark of the beast. You've been so blind to it. You were so easily fooled. All somebody had to do is say the microchip is the way you get is how you get the mark of the beast. You put that chip in you, that's your forehead in your hand. It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. You think God cares that you put a microchip in your body? Ridiculous. In your hand, it's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. You think God cares that you put a microchip in your body? You think God cares that you put a microchip in your body? You think God cares? You think God...
See that? You can't make it up. Yes, he cares. So much to the point to where if you take it, he's gonna burn you, okay, with fire, man. In the presence of the Lamb and the holy angels. And we got the script, we got the law earlier in Leviticus chapter 19. You shall not have any cuttings or incisions or marks upon your flesh, man. And that's in the law. So even if you don't believe that the MOTB is the microchip, you're supposed to know that the Most High still cares, okay, about that, because hey, we're his property. We've been bought with a price, man. You see? And in no wise are you supposed to allow the so-called white man get up inside of you, man. Put his shit inside of you, man. Inside of the Most High's sanctuary, temple, because we're the temple of the Lord, man. So you can't make it up. Let me finish playing that video.
Cares? You think God cares? You think God cares? You got a microchip on your phone, a microchip in everything that
Yeah, it's in the phone. It's not in me. It's in my credit card, it's in my debit card, it's not in me. That's the thing. Because we're the temple of Yahweh by Shemal Shah, not my phone. Retard.
you has a microchip. Because I know I got Yahweh back. They came out with it.
Yeah, but the reason why, Jake, says particular things like that is because why? Let's read this again. Exodus 21:5. And if his master, so like verse 5, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, I love master. Master good to me, sir. Master let me read, let me wipe. Master give me 2 days off. Master give me Juneteenth, sir. All right. That's why Jake says those particular things, man, such as what he just said. And he speaks, for an overwhelming majority of Israelites who know that they're Israelites, man. A lot of Israelites really think that way because they love Massa and they love these fake ass marriages, these whack ass families. They love this whack ass life, man. They love this tap water that they drinking. Jake still, we in 2026. Jake's still drinking out of water hoses, man. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, sir, I would not go out free. Let's get that in the NLT. But the slave may declare, I love my master, my wife, and my children. I don't want to go free. Jake don't want to be free, man. Okay. They don't want to be free, just like those Jakes in the wilderness, man. We want to go back to Egypt. We remember the fish, the leeks, the cucumbers, the onions. Pea popping on the handstand. You see? They don't want to be free, man. Verse 6, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. All right, so now it's got to be made, okay, witness that you don't want to be free. Okay, and who's those judges? Who's those Alahayim? Okay, Yahweh by Shemal Shah, the angels, man, and the elect. Okay, got all this on record that you don't want to be free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. There you have it. Scrap this here in the book of John 12, because Jake, they love their lives here, man. And we've been commanded, a prerequisite in order to be a follower of Yahweh Shah, you cannot love your life, save your life, trying to being in the spirit of saving your life, saving your setup that you got here going on in America. Because Jake has gotten comfortable here, so they don't want to lose it. They don't want to lose their comforts. All right, so them trying to save is going to cause them to get that chip, man. John 12:25, Yahweh Shah says, he that loveth his life shall lose it, right? Because the life that you have here on this side was given to you by Esau. Your job, your rent house, your car, your cell phone. Esau gave it to you, man. So if you want to keep it, we just got the ordinance. You got to publicly and plainly say that you love, because you love your master, your wife, okay, your children. You got to get that all. And here in these times, the RFID or the syringe, that needle, the syringe that delivers the chip, that implants the chip, that would be likened to, okay, the modern day awl, okay, to where it bores and pierces your skin. John 12:25, he that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. NLT, those who love their life in this world will lose it. You know? And see, and this is why the Lord is causing us to hate our life here more. Every day. Every day we see how degraded society is. We see how filthy of a life this is, man. This shit ain't it. It's whack as hell, man. It's another freaking Monday in Babylon the Great. You know, you had to roll yourself out of bed, get ready for freaking work, man. Again. All right. But the Lord is, as long as we have this truth, we're spiritually, outside the matrix. I mean, we're in the matrix, but now we can see it for what it really is. So any person in their right mind, any Israelite in their right mind, they wouldn't want their life to continue here, man. We're not in the spirit of trying to make 10-year plans, 15-year plans. We are hastening the day. Those who love their life in this world will lose it. Those who care nothing for their life in this world will keep it for eternity. And that's the elect. The elect, they care nothing for their life. They care nothing for their lives here, man. Revelation 12 and 11. And they, speaking of the elect, overcame him, Esau, the system, by the blood of the Lamb, Yahushua, and through his sacrifice, and by the word of their testimony, this doctrine, this truth, this new song, which only the elect can sing. And they love not their lives unto the death. That's how you get over. That's how you get the victory over this place, man. Over this wicked beast system, is by the blood of Yahushua, the testimony, and not loving your life, okay, unto death, man. NLT, and they have defeated him. And see, Esau is defeated, and they have defeated him by the blood of the Lamb, and by their testimony, and they did not love their lives so much that they were afraid to die. See, and all those things, all those three things right there is everything that this world scoffs against, man. People scoff against Yahushua. They scoff against the Lamb and his blood, his sacrifice. They scoff against the testimony that we have. You see, and they also scoff against the way how the elect conducts their lives here. You see, but this is the very equation, or the recipe, if you will, as into how we get the victory over this place, man. So I just wanted to bring that out this morning, man. As the title of the lesson reads again, and if the servant plainly says, I love my master. Master good to me. All right, that's Jake, man. Jake got to go. The Lord's he's gonna free you from your own misery. But it's gonna be a mercy kill, man. But for you, hopefully, elect out there that's in the right spirit. All right, continue to do what's been commanded of us, man. All right, and embrace, the situation that the Lord got us in, because it's all working together. Oh, let's get that, Romans 8. Everything is working together for the good of those who love Yahweh by Shema Shah. Oh, let's get this, Romans 8 and 15. For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear. See that? So as the Lord has given us his Holy Spirit, and he's, reconciling us back into himself, okay, we haven't received the spirit of fear, okay, to go back into bondage, man. See, because Esau is going to play upon your fears. The fear of losing this, the fear of losing that. All right? The fear of dying. See, with Yahweh B'Shem Shah, all those fears are taken away. It says, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father, man. Let's skip down here to verse let's see. Here we go, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh B'Shem Shah, to them who are called according to his purpose. That's it, man. All right, so yeah, we'll leave it right there. You know, Abaratazah, you Akim, you Akwat, were edified. Until next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakodash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostle, Elder Great Millstone, Muaf Lababal, Shalom.